What's going on, members of the Burger Empire? Brian here for Body by Burgers. I know you haven't seen me in over a year, and that part of it is inexcusable. I'd like to say I'm back. I'm hoping I'm back. Many things have changed in life, and I deserve, not I deserve, you guys deserve an update as to what's been going on, what's happening, life, where I'm at, how I'm doing stuff. Like I said, it's been well over a year. I left you guys on a cliffhanger saying I'm back, and then I disappeared right away. So we gotta fill you guys all in on what happened. This is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of... I want to say the word is... trauma, maybe is the word to use. But it's going to just be me, my webcam, this microphone. We're going to upload this video. There's going to be as little edits as possible. I'm going to try my best to tell my entire story, and we're gonna go from there. There's going to be a lot of things that are being said that may or may not get me in trouble. I don't know, but at the same point, I think it's important to say them because it'll be like a healing experience. It'll be time for me to move on and go from there. So like I said, the last time you guys see me was March of 2022. I said I'm back. I have my fitness plan all written out. I said this works around my work schedule, blah, 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 blah. And at the time, you guys know I was working at a local axe throwing facility and virtual reality arcade. What you guys didn't know is at that time, the owner and my boss had taken on another opportunity to essentially mentor and open a store in another country. And he was trying to manage and run the store from another country. And it became, for lack of a better term, it just became an absolute shit show. Everything that had happened was very unfair to myself and other staff members on the way he was treating us and the expectations he was expecting out of us, and not giving us any resources, any help, anything, right? I don't know that I want to get into too much detail about that, but basically what it boiled down to was there was a massive lack of boundaries that was established at that point. Every single time we were on the phone, every single conversation we had, I established boundaries. I told him, you know, if you need to get a hold of me, you know my schedule, you make my schedule, that's when I'm available. There was a lot of 1, 2, 3 hour phone calls outside of my work hours that I'm not being paid for. There was a lot of things that I was relaying to him from customer feedback that he just didn't believe me on. He was saying that that's not what they want, that's what you know, and what really honestly hurt about that is I was his longest serving employee at that point, longest servicing employee ever, and he still wouldn't trust anything that I had said. And the worst part is I was the axe throwing manager, so I had fallen in love with the sport. So every bit of feedback that I had given him from customers was everything they wanted, right? I wanted that sport to grow. I wanted that sport to succeed. But I wasn't given any power, any trust to make it happen. And the worst part, like it just got taxing. And I think one of the final straws was basically, there was a situation, we're not going to get into it, over the phone. He basically told me that I am more useless than the employees he has down at the business he's opening up in the country, when I was alone to run 6 or 7 different stations, and down at the business he was opening with somebody else's money, he had a dedicated person to every single station, but I was the useless one. And he told me stories of that these people wouldn't show up for their shifts. They would come 25 minutes late, 30 minutes late. I was the guy that was always there 20 minutes early. I stayed late. I did unpaid labor. That was the biggest thing. He was putting so much stress and anxiety on me that I was working an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after my shift sometimes, just to make sure everything was caught up, unpaid, because if I had stayed late even 10 minutes, I was getting a phone call saying, why the hell are you costing me money? It wasn't a good situation. It wasn't a healthy situation. I reverted back to my old habits, because as most of you know, I've been very open about my food addiction. Food is my comfort. That's what I turn to. And where I work carried a lot of snacks. Not healthy snacks. Chips, chocolate bars, pop, energy drinks, those kinds of things. And I would be turning to those basically every time there was a text message or phone call. And that was multiple times a day. So that was not good for me. I know this. I recognize this. This went on from March until the end of October. And at the end of October, I finally had enough. For those of you that don't know, my birthday is October 11th. I took it upon myself to say, look, it's my 34th birthday. I owe it to myself to dedicate everything I have to me. I want to give a year of focusing on me, pursuing my passions of content creation, Pokemon cards, all that kind of stuff. And a recent passion and a new passion, with that being said, was the axe throwing, right? So I want to pursue that in some sort of capacity, whether it's me going to tournaments, hosting tournaments, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what I said to myself. All right, I'm dedicating a year to me. This is a year for me. What I didn't realize was how much I was holding on to that past, how much that anger was still dictating my life for a very, very long time. I dove right into streaming on Twitch again, thinking, okay, well, the new Pokemon game's coming out. This is what I do. This is what I'm going to stream. I'm going to love it. I dove right into that, but there was still a lot of healing that needed to be done. I didn't really focus on the gym or my health or anything like that until very, very recently again. So, with that being said, all of October up until about June, we kind of had this time of nothingness. Basically, there was a lot of times where most of my days, even though I was trying to stream, working on things that made me happy, focusing on building my brand, my content, my YouTube, there was many days, and probably more days than not, that were filled with depression, and I was basically paralyzed by that depression. Right? For those of you that know, you know what depression is like, and I urge, if you can't fight it out yourself, go get help. I'm not the guy to give you any professional advice that way. I have my own demons that I got to battle, and I'm probably not taking care of them the right way. But we're slowly getting better. We're slowly getting better. From there, I swear to God, I have undiagnosed ADHD. But there's so many things that I want to do in life, right? I want to have successful content, right? So I want to be good on YouTube. I want to be good on Twitch. I want to be a successful axe throwing person in some sort of capacity. And those were all things that I was working towards. But in April, tax time had come around. And I got a pretty good tax return, basically because I wasn't working. I didn't work for a third of the year. So, I qualified for like low income benefits, blah, 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 blah. And that's when I decided I need to take things a step further. Content is going okay. I grew my gaming channel, or my Pokemon channel, you want to call that, from 70 subscribers to we're now at 684. Things are moving, things are going, but I want more out of it. So I ended up doing what it takes to own a business. So, as crazy as that is, as of April 20th, 2023, I own a trading card business called C Cards and Collectibles. And the plan with that is to basically build that card business to the point where it's making me money. That's going to be part of my career. But I'm also going to use that business to grow my Pokemon channel even more. So we're going to see card openings on that. All of the card openings that we're using, I'm going to be selling the cards. We're going to have sealed and all that other stuff, and we're all going to see that. But when I it's not an incorporation, it's sole proprietorship. So basically when I purchased the rights to own a business, that came with more challenges. And I was so driven and focused on that business, I was still neglecting myself. So basically from the time of November to April, I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to get past the trauma. I'm trying to learn who I am now, find myself again, because if you ask the people around me that were close to me, at that time when I was working near the end, I wasn't me. I was a completely different person. I was miserable. Nobody wanted to be around me. Nobody even wanted to talk to me because everything I had was negative. Negative, negative, negative. I was burying in a hole and I was trying to drag people with me. And that's not who I am. The people that know me, have known me for a while, know that I'm a generally positive person. I may be shy and I may be full of anxiety, but I'm a generally positive person, and that wasn't who I was anymore. So we finally but we get the business going, and then again, like I said, that came with a whole new level of stresses and anxieties and whatever else, because this is something that I had never done before. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. As much research as you can do, because I didn't take this lightly. I was like, okay, well, I can get into this, or I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But I decided for the longevity and basically career path-wise that owning a business that can make money right away is probably the best path for me. I can grow it over time. Eventually, I become my own boss. I get people under me. I make their lives fantastic, blah, blah, blah. The other agenda to that is, starting as a sole proprietor, I can then build my content to a point where it's making more than just a hobby income, and I now have money to become an LLC, a liability corporation. The content goes under one umbrella, the card business goes under one umbrella. There's a synergy there. I pay myself a small wage, and now the business itself is growing, expanding. For editing eventually. I bring on people that can manage the shipping of the company eventually. I bring, so I'm just doing the content. But that wasn't enough. There was something missing in my life. I did not understand or realize how much the community aspect I was missing from axe throwing. Those people in axe throwing especially the ones that were there through thick and thin, the good times, the bad times, the rule changes, the bullshit, how much I missed them. They became more than friends. They became especially more than customers. They basically became family. And I say that because it was a community that had been built that I need in my life. And it's one of those situations where you don't know what you got until it's gone. And when it was gone, it was a big thing that was missing. I love creating content. I love streaming on Twitch. I love opening Pokemon cards. I love buying and selling Pokemon cards. But that's all very, very lonely work. So even throughout that time, I was still feeling exceptionally depressed. I didn't have a community aspect. I didn't have people I was seeing on a day-to-day basis because my mindset was grind. And in order for me to grind, I'm locked in this room. I see nobody. Sure, it is what it is. But I was in this room 10 to 12 hours a day. And I wasn't making the best choices. I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating good food. I was eating convenience food because I was grinding. I don't see my parents. That's the simple fact of it. So I had to come up with something that got me going. I guess the bigger agenda to starting the business, focusing more on content, was to get me out. With that being said, there was kind of a little light bulb moment that went off recently saying that health is also wealth. There's many, many different ways that you can measure wealth. But if I don't have my health, I do not create wealth, right? So if I'm not taking care of myself nutritionally, if I'm not taking care of myself mentally, if I'm not taking care of myself physically, the card business doesn't exist. My content doesn't exist. My desire to push myself further into the axe throwing world does not exist. Me helping other people live a better life by giving them jobs, by treating them fairly, doesn't exist. The empire building doesn't happen unless I take care of myself. So it's been a major focus since June. And I guess the biggest thing that I haven't told you guys is during this time of not focusing on myself, not taking my health as a priority, my weight had ballooned up. I'm actually a good chunk lighter now than when I was. I got back to the heaviest weight that I had ever weighed again. The number that is tattooed on my arm, I weighed that again. And that was kind of another massive wake-up call. Like, hey, I cannot go through that again. If I stand for too long, my left leg tingles. My back gets sore. I'm done. I've done this before. I'm not doing it again. And knowing that feeling, I know for a fact that damage is being done, and potentially damage that is irreversible. So we started to buckle down. So I was back up to 383 pounds, and that was not good. Not good. As of Sunday morning, I'm going to pull it up on my phone because my scale syncs with my phone. Let's take a look. 368.9 pounds. I had a little bit of fun on Sunday with some friends, so we're up to 370 pounds. So we've lost 13 pounds again, and we're only going to push. As the business expands, of course, I have a friend that wants to be a part of the business. He just doesn't have the ability to live on a low income like myself. And we have a deal going on with some sort of, I guess, health bet, if you want to call it that. So basically, once the time comes, once the business gets big enough, I'm going to bring him on. But by my birthday this year, I'm not 335 pounds or less. I'm giving him an extra 2% equity. And I eventually plan on making that business $1 billion business. So 2% of $1 billion is a lot of money. That kind of leads us up to today. I know there's a lot of things that I glazed over in life right now. We've got some family health stuff that we're dealing with. So again, like I said, I can't promise a lot is going to happen with the fitness routine is probably going to be up and down. I'm waiting to hear back from a job if I'm going to get a job or not. The idea with the job is to feed the car business more, to expand the car business quicker. If I don't get the job, then I have to go focus back on content, but then we still have to work family affairs. So there's lots going on still. I just have to keep the mindset that health is wealth, and the wealth doesn't happen without my health. It's just that simple. So like I said, I hope that kind of gives you guys an overview. What I'm going to say, what I've learned throughout this whole year. No amount of money is worth your health, mentally or physically. It's been a whole year. I was done my job at the end of October. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. 9 months it's taken me to get back to somewhat normal. Don't waste those 9 months. No amount of money is worth it. Have 1 or 2 conversations with the powers that be at your position. If things don't change, escalate it. If they still don't change, find a new job. Money is not worth it. Trust me when I say that. Money is not worth it, because now I have wasted 9 months of my life treading water, slowly growing things, but not to the potential they could have been. The good news is, I feel better now. And I feel like we can very much get things to the potential they have. So I want you all to stay tuned. I thank you for hanging around. I'm going to do everything I can to give you guys weekly updates. I might do some random gym reaction videos. I don't know. But I very, very much appreciate each and every one of you. And I want you guys to use me as a lesson to not make the same mistakes. But just know, if you have, it's okay. Because you can fix them. Thank you for watching today's video. Appreciate it. And until next time, everybody.